What's your best story that is 100% real but nobody believes you? I was in Sao Paulo, Brazil, on a business trip. The night before departure, I wanted a drink, but the lounge of the hotel was closed for a private party. I didn't want to go out of the building alone at that time, so I started talking to one of the private guards. Then this lady came closer and asked if there are problems. I explained her I was hoping to get a drink, but didn't want to bother. She started talking in a very good English. I can speak enough Portuguese to get by, but am definitely not fluent, and explained me it was a party after a wedding. She was older than me, probably late 40s, but very good looking. She asked me if I wanted to join her upstairs for a drink, and she brought me to her room. We spent 30 minutes banging on every possible surface until she told me she had to go back to the lounge. I asked her why the hurry, and she told me she was the mother of the bride. I felt like in a MasterCard advert. This guy wins. Suit, $300, briefcase, $70 plane tickets, 1/7 banging the bride's mother. Priceless. I'm sorry I don't know how much plane tickets cost. We'll bang, okay? Fucking fuck, bro. You motherfucker, that sounds awesome. Watch out, Stifler. I don't believe him, so I guess he does. I'm totally lost. What is so unlikely about banging someone's mom? So basically, he was an accidental wedding crasher, or an accidental wedding banger. When I was in elementary school, my brother and I were walking home from school after it had rained all day. He started reaching his hand in all the puddles. I asked him what he was doing. Sometimes there's money in these. 3 or 4 puddles later, he pulled out a $20 bill. Not sure if he ganked it from somewhere else and planted it, or it was legit. Either way, I now check puddles for treasures when there are no witnesses. I had a similar situation as a young lad swimming in a lake. I spied something small trapped under a rock in the water, pulled out a $20 note. I was chuffed, to put it lightly. When I was about 16, I was in a restaurant in Melbourne with my cousin. I noticed a young guy eating with his family. I said to my cousin, "Haha, hey look, it's Harry Potter." Because of his similarities to Daniel Radcliffe. My cousin replied, that is Harry Potter. He was in Australia shooting an Aussie film. A bit later, I went to the toilet to pee. Whilst I was at the urinal, Daniel came in and began to pee in the urinal next to me. I looked over at him, and we made eye contact, and he said, "Nice wand, finished," washed his hands, and walked out. No one has ever believed this, and only my cousin can vouch for the fact that we saw him, but not for what he said in the toilet. This is my favorite so far. It's like he knows nobody will ever believe you when you do tell LOL. Like the story with Bill Murray and the fries. Did you have a wand duel? Did someone say wand duel? When I was 15 years old, I was in my kitchen, home alone, cutting a pineapple. There was a fly that was buzzing around my face for the past 2 minutes, and it was getting really fucking annoying, so, just for the heck of it, out of pure blind rage, I grabbed my knife and swung it at the fly in midair. I sliced the fly in half. Sliced it in fucking half. After I did that, I immediately realized no one would ever believe me. How good are you with a sword? See that fly? Swish with sword. The fly is still alive, but that fly will never have sex again. I'm pretty sure there's a film about a guy that killed a fly with some chopsticks, and he goes to Japan to show his great-granddad the fly, and then becomes a ninja. Do you have any Asian relatives? About 7 or 8 years ago, I was really into humorous wiki vandalizations, and thought it would be funny to claim that kiwi fruit were once called hairy bush fruit. I modified the page on kiwi fruit to say so. I cut and pasted some random Chinese characters from elsewhere in the article and put this in: hairy bush fruit. Since then, it has been repeated all over the place and currently returns 61,000 hits on Google. It has been printed in The Guardian, which means it is now a 100% verifiable fact and will quite likely never be removed from the offending article. It is a kind of scary implication. The Guardian journalist that wrote that article should have noted that Wikipedia was used as reference, but didn't. There could quite easily be other circular references like this, where a journo repeats something incorrect lifted from Wikipedia and publishes it, which then means the incorrect fact can be referenced in the press.
What the fuck? Why did I almost try Googling hairy bush fruit at work?
You just kept me from doing it. On the way to visit a friend, my husband and I got lost on a highway in Pennsylvania. By some weird chance, my husband's friend drives past us in the opposite direction. We see him and turn around to catch up to him. Finally pulling over, we are standing on the side of the road, two-lane highway, discussing the directions to the friend's house. Surrounding us are farms with corn and other various crops. Out of nowhere, a duck appears on the opposite side of the road. He is looking at us curiously while we are talking. We watch him look both ways and waddle across the road to where we are standing. Cars are honking at him as they attempt to drive past. He gets over to my husband, pecks at his shoe once, and then promptly walks back across the street, dodging cars traveling at highway speed. He made it back across the street and disappeared into the crops. He risked his life to peck my husband's shoe and simply waddled out of our lives. I can't help but feel like maybe you should have followed him back across the street? Possibly he was trying to show you something. He was the best companion Farmer Fred ever had. When Fred fell off his tractor and crushed his pelvic bone, he sent Dwayne, his trusty duck, to get help. Dwayne came back with no help. Fred cursed his pet duck. Fred died a slow, painful death, only second in pain to the voice of his wife, in his conscience telling him, "A duck? A fucking duck? Really, Fred? You should have just gotten a dog like every other normal person." No one ever believes me. My parents worked extremely late, overnight, so she often slept over. One night she decided to sleep in my bed. I asked her to show me her boobs, and she did, and told me I could touch them. She also was only wearing a thong. It's probably borderline sexual assault or something, but I didn't care. I was the only that had asked to see that and received. I looked her up on Facebook recently, and she is a beast. A beast like she's a babe or a beast like she's fucking hideous? A ham beast. Disgusting. Then I definitely believe you. I saw the DVD logo hit the corner of the screen. No, you didn't, Pam. When I was little, my younger brother and I were always staying with babysitters during the day. This one time, we were with the same babysitter for a few months. As soon as we got to her house, I would hang me and my brother's coat on the coat hangers that were strategically placed right before the basement stairs. My brother was too little to reach the coat hangers, so I would have to hang his for him. Well, one day, he got this stubborn idea that he wanted to hang his own coat. I remember being nervous, but I let him try anyway. He picks the hanger that is the closest one possible to the top of the basement stairs. As he is on his tiptoes, struggling to reach the hanger, he all of a sudden falls over and down the basement stairs. The babysitter heard him crying, then accused me of pushing my baby brother down the stairs. She told my mom about it later. To this day, no one believes me that I didn't do it. I would never hurt my little brother. That sucks. Does he believe you? So my friends and I are sitting in my apartment, and my buddy Asian Nate, the Asian part is pertinent to the story, but also what we called him, begins telling a story about how he had recently jizzed in his own eye while fapping. Nate is a horrible storyteller. In the middle of his story, my other buddy, Jeremiah, gets up to use the restroom. For context, Asian Nate is sitting in a lazy boy recliner that is in the corner of the living room. The restroom that Jeremiah is visiting is at the opposite end of the room and a few feet down a hallway. If I had to wager, I'd say the door to the restroom was a good 20 feet from the recliner. Also pertinent to the story. Nate rambles for long enough that Jeremiah has time to take a leak and wash his hand and step back into the hallway to hear the end of the story. Evidently, Jeremiah's hands were feeling a bit chapped, and he decided to grab the economy-size bottle of Jergens lotion from our bathroom. Yeah, when 4 dudes live in an apartment, the 32's floaz. Lotion bottle is a good investment, and stand in the hall while applying said lotion to hear the end of Asian Nate's fapping story. Well, I guess Jeremiah lubed his hands up a little more than expected And just as Asian Nate is delivering the punchline to his jizz in the eye story, Jeremiah looses his grip on the Jergens bottle. The miracle of physics that then took place is hard to do justice. The bottle did a perfect 180-degree inversion landing pump down on the floor. As Asian finally says the words, "And then I jizzed in my own eye," a stream of Jergens lotion is ejected at near light speed and lands, some 20 feet away, directly in Asian Nate's eye. If I live to 100, I will never see a more serendipitous series of events. It was magical.